Good afternoon. How are you all today on this wonderful sunny Thursday? Proper summer's day today. 24 degrees outside. Excuse me. Yeah, let's go through this Vinai and Raul interview with Laura Woods. Let's go through the talking points of part one and part two. Big up everyone in the chat room. Hello to everybody. Good evening. Good evening. It's funny I say good evening actually because Unai Emery, it's 1 year ago today that he signed for Arsenal Football Club. 1 year ago today. What do you think of the new kit? I'm not sure whether they're real, but I know Ian Wright, he deleted his tweet. He put the tweet out with the kits and he deleted it, and everyone had screenshotted it by the time he deleted it. So, but if they are real, then yeah, I'll be getting both. I think they're absolutely mad. The red one's really nice. The yellow one's obviously a throwback to the bruised banana kit. So yeah, I would get both. Thank you, Tiago. Big up yourself, mate. Big up from Morocco. Thank you, mate. Which one do you like the best? I'll be honest. I think I like the yellow one the best. I like the yellow one the best, but yeah, let's start with day one, part one. And after watching both parts and writing these notes down, I've written two little pages of notes down, the main talking points. Excuse me, the talking points. But I'll get onto that in a minute. Thank you to everyone in the chat room. To me, Vinay is very Gazidis-esque. Speaks very well, says all the right things, proper corporate man. When I watched part two, he hardly spoke, whereas he was the main voice in part one. Good afternoon, VP. I hope you are safe and well after the floods and the hurricanes where you're at, mate. But yeah, part two, Raul to me, he every time he spoke, he was smiling, like talking about the club. He was smiling. He gets it. Whereas Vinay, for me, I think he's just a bit of a puppet. But we'll go through some of the talking points. Vinay started on day one, part one. The Puma tight kits are like condoms. Yeah, Vinay, day one, part one. The model of the club has changed. We've now got a head coach which has got less responsibility. They would 100% employ Unai Emery again. Raul said Unai is very passionate on the training ground with the fans and the staff. And he is. Every time he does an interview, he talks about the fans. And I like that because at times the previous manager would blame the fans for certain things towards the end of his reign. But this manager, he's come in, he's a breath of fresh air, and yeah, he keeps mentioning the fans. Apparently, Unai Emery mentioned in his interviews, good evening, everyone, good evening in the chat. You don't need to spam my chat, otherwise I'm blocking you, mate. Yeah, apparently Unai Emery mentioned on his interview, the interview process, that obviously their objective as a football club, Arsenal Football Club, was to qualify for Champions League. Right, now this for me is a big thing, right? And I'll elaborate on that in a minute. But in the interview process, Unai Emery spoke about winning the Europa League all the way through it, saying that he wants to win the Europa League, even through the interview process. But they've both said, Vinay and Raul have both said that the objective was to get Champions League. Now, if Unai Emery fails to win the Europa League next week, does that mean he's getting sacked then because he's failed to meet his objectives? Because let's be real, if you fail to meet the objectives at a football club, surely you failed and you're going to get sacked. So I think they've sort of maybe jumped the gun with that one, basically coming out saying that the objective was Champions League. Yes, obviously we'd like to be in the Champions League, but why would they openly come out and say that? Because now they're leaving themselves open to backlash on that if we don't win the Europa League final, because ultimately he would have failed with the objectives the club set out. Now, if they continue on with him, if he loses the Europa League final, then that shows the fan base, that shows Unai Emery, that shows everybody that even if you don't hit the objectives, you're still going to keep your job, which is what we did with the previous manager for a decade too long. So I thought that was a big, big thing. Vinai then went on to saying that our vision is to make the club and the fans proud. We want to be winning our way, the Arsenal way. We want to win get in the Champions League regular, compete for that, win Premier League titles. Similar sort of stuff that even Gazidis was saying. So for me, I think Vinai is a little bit of that mould. Making revenue is a must. We need to reinvest it all back on the pitch. Efficiency is key. Every penny we spend needs to be spent wisely on players and the squad, sensible in the transfer window. We need to maximise the sales to rebuild. Every penny will go back into the rebuild. To anyone 2 years below on their contract will either be told to sign again, unless they're coming towards the end of their career, or they are being sold. Now, let's see if that comes true in the summer, because we've got Aubameyang and we've got Mesut Ozil, both with 2 years left on their contract. Aubameyang and Ozil are both 30 years old. They're both coming towards the end of their career. So where does that leave both of them? Is that we're going to tell them to sign a new deal or they're getting out, or we're just going to allow them to walk out for nothing in 2 years when they're at the end of their career? But let's be real, 32 years old, which they'll both be by the time they end their contracts at Arsenal, is not the end of their career. They can go to China, they can go to America, places like that. So for me, I think, like I said, Vinai is a little bit of a company man. He's a little bit of a corporate guy, very, very much like Ivan Gazidis. He then said, talking about the owners, they have text message conversations daily, monthly meetings. The owners, Josh and Stan, are very ambitious. They want to win trophies. They want to compete at the highest level. Raul then said that the owners want us to be successful on the pitch, and we need the right players for the right positions. They are willing to let us spend every single penny that we bring in. So let's see in the summer. Vinai elaborated on that. Every penny we generate is available for squad improvement, according to financial fair play. So let's assume we go and sell, just for argument's sake, we go and sell Aubameyang for £120 million. Now, that £120 million will be split over the length of the contract that Aubameyang gets at the next club. So let's say it's a 4-year deal, right? A 4-year deal, £30 million payments every year. So does that mean we get the whole £120 million? Because obviously that deal that we sign, or 2 deals that we sign for the 2 players we replace him with, gets split over the length of their contract? Or does that mean that we've only got the 30 million for the down payment on payment 1 up front? I don't know. They've left that open to interpretation. Part 2, Raul spoke pretty much most of the 24 minutes in part 2. Please smash a thumbs up on this video. There's only 40 likes on this, nearly 300 people watching. Thank you, Simon. Appreciate that, mate. But Raul said the model of the club, from manager all the way down to the academy, they have the same direction: sporting director, technical director, academy coaches, head coach, and they all pull in the same direction. It takes the pressure away from a manager, and the manager would manage and oversee everything: the signings, the transfer fees, the player wage bill, the academy, everything. So they're trying to implement the foreign style in the boardroom, which I think is good. I think that's a good move. You know, not many clubs in England have a technical director, a sporting director. Obviously, they have academy coaches and a head coach. But as long as Unai Emery's allowed to just do what he needs to do on the pitch, and everyone above him is pulling in the same direction, then that's cool for me. He said that we need to focus on the youth. I agree with that. You know, we've got a great youth setup. How many of them are going to come through? You know, there could be little gems down there. So, I don't know. Alex, thank you for that, mate. Yeah, 2001, biggest sale, Mark Overmars, 40 million quid to Barcelona. Yep, that's mad. 18 years ago. But yeah, he said that if you look back at all the best teams that have dominated over the years, Man United had the class of 92, Bayern Munich's teams, Ajax teams, Barcelona's teams, they've all had youth team players all step up and come through at the same time. And he's trying to get that at Arsenal. And like I said, every time Raul spoke in part two, you could see his passion and hunger. You could see that he was happy and he loves talking about Arsenal and football. Whereas I think with Vinai, I just think he just sat there with generic answers. I just thought he was a bit of a puppet. So let's hope that it's Raul that's dealing with all these transfers in the summer. They then went on to strengths and performance issues with players. Each player, we need to make a decision on whether they get a new deal, whether we let them go. It's been going on all season. They've been having contact with Unai Emery, talking about players and their performances and what Unai thinks he needs and how he's got the players working and which ones are not working the way he wants, etc., etc. He then ridiculed deadline day. Champions League is important to buy better players for the fans, for revenue for the club. We can deal with Europa League, says Vinai, but we are a global club and we want to be in the Champions League, which we do. Let's be real. We want to be eating at the finest table, the big table. You know what I'm saying? And if we win the Europa League, then that's fantastic. Raul then said that we have identified positions in the squad that need replacing. Laura Woods asked him which positions. He wouldn't answer because he said, soon as I tell you, that means the prices are basically going to go through the roof because everyone now knows we need a certain player in a certain position. But they have been in talks with players. Arsenal's image globally is strong. Some players do want us to be in the Champions League, but they have not killed off the deals with us that we have put on the table. Arsenal and Premier League football are a massive draw and pull to any player. Couple more points here. Aaron Ramsey, they spoke about Aaron Ramsey. Basically, Raul stuck it on the previous regime in no uncertain terms. Aaron was allowed to go to the last year of his contract. The salary would have unbalanced our club financially. It has to be stable. He did want to stay, but he had unbelievable offers from all over the world financially for money. But we had to protect the interest of Arsenal Football Club. An unbalanced wage bill is not a good wage bill. Arsenal made an error letting him get to his last year of his contract in the first place. They then spoke about Welbeck, and it was a similar situation. Welbeck did have a few offers. He decided he didn't want to go to them offers, so we were snookered as a football club. And he basically stayed, and he's walking out for nothing. But we'll see a lot more of this over the next coming years because players now know that they can run down their contracts and they know they can treble their money by going somewhere else. They can get a massive signing on fee. And it's going to happen quite a lot in the future. Please smash the like button, get it over 100 likes. But yeah, what do you guys think? Obviously, most of you have watched it. Let's hope they can back it up with action, says Majib Ahmed. I agree. He said they'll be sold if they don't sign, so I don't think so. Says Harris. Do you know what, right? I think that this summer we're going to see whether all of this is small talk before the season ticket renewals, or whether the club has actually changed its philosophy. Because under the old regime, they were all way too comfortable. You know, the previous manager come out and said it's a good situation, the perfect situation for a player to be in the last year of their contract. Yeah, it's perfect for the player. It ain't perfect for the club. And let's be real. We've let Sanchez walk out for Mkhitaryan. So we've lost money there because we got offered 60 million for Sanchez from Man City. We rejected that and got Mkhitaryan. How much is Mkhitaryan worth? Let's be real. 25 mil? Maybe 30? So we've lost money. Aaron Ramsey, if he was under contract, is a £50 million player. Danny Welbeck under contract is maybe a £20 million player to somebody lower down the table. So if you add it all up, we've lost just them three players for 100 odd million pounds, 130 million. Yes, we've got Mickey in exchange. Let's say he was worth 30 at the time. So we have lost 100 million pounds worth of players in the last 12 months. And that can't be right as a club of our size that are struggling in the table, not in Champions League football, with a massive wage bill of £240 million a year. We can't afford to do that. They want to utilise every single penny efficiently. And if that means the likes of Ozil and Aubameyang surplus to requirements because it's beneficial for the club, then we have to accept that. You know, if I look at it, yeah, I don't want Aubameyang to leave the football club, but if we can double our money on him and get 200 grand off the wage bill every week, then so be it. If it helps improve the football club, because ultimately the club is bigger than any player. Mesut Ozil was on 350 grand a week. You know, a lot of people are saying, how are you going to get rid of that? There's a way to get rid of that. You take £5 million in transfer fee, add that to the 36 mil. He don't have to take a pay cut anywhere else. The new club pays 41 million overall for him because they've paid 5 mil plus the wage bill. Yeah, we've got that off our wage bill. We can split that between 2 or 3 players and move the club forward. So, I don't know. What do you guys think? Nearly 400 people watching. I appreciate that. Thank you very much to everyone watching as well. Big up all the 15,000 odd of you that have subscribed to my channel inside 6 months. I appreciate that. Update on the laptop very soon, next 2 weeks. We're all becoming accountants nowadays. Unfortunately, that's how football's gone, mate. Youssef, yes you can. You can have a shout out. There you go. I would prefer to lose Ozil than Aubameyang. I agree. I think Aubameyang offers a whole lot more than Mesut Ozil. What's in it for Mesut Ozil? Well, I think he's going to be told this season, this summer, that he is surplus to requirements and it's either go and play football somewhere else or you ain't playing. Then we see whether he actually loves the club like his agent says. How much have I missed, says Evan? Quite a bit, mate. Almost every top 6 club in the EPL should have a buyback clause for youth players leaving for the sake of the national game, if anything else, says the Flossy. I agree with that. Is Sarri sacked, Lee? No, he's not been sacked. Big week coming up for us Gunners, yeah. Ozil is my favourite player. Mate, I ain't saying nothing. When are the kits coming out? I believe they're coming out on the 1st of July. I'm not sure whether they'll both be released on the first day, but I think the home one will be released 1st of July. I think the away one will probably be released whilst we're in America. I don't know, though, to be honest. What are your thoughts on the new kit, says the Mr. Arsenal podcast? I'd buy them both if that is genuinely the kit. Big up troops in the building. Nice one, brother. Hope you're well. Hope the family's well. Looks like a strategy for transfers finally, says G90. Do you know what, right? The more Raul spoke, the more he made me feel comfortable with the way the summer transfer window is going to go. And the more that I felt that he actually has a clear plan. And I don't know why they've done this interview now. Maybe it's because the season tickets are renewed next month. Maybe it's because they want everyone to feel a bit more confident going into the window. Obviously, you know, there's been a big gap between the last game of the season against Burnley and then when the Europa League plays. So I don't know. I don't know why they've done it now. But like I said at the beginning, I think every time Raul spoke, you could see his passion and hunger for football. He's happy and wants to make it a success at Arsenal. Whereas with Vinai, everything he said was very Gazidis-esque. It was, you know, just very standard answers, you know, generic answers. He spoke with very good words, very slowly. You know, he wasn't butting in over Raul. But I just felt with him it was Gazidis part 2. But like I said, let's hope that Raul is in charge. Spanish Sean Dyche, mate. Do you know what? I had a sore throat listening to him. Proper mafia boss, innit? Would you prefer Arsenal winning the Champions League or England winning the World Cup? Mate, Arsenal all day long to win the Champions League. They've done the video for a reason. I hope it's a good one. They know anything that's said will be held accountable, says Evan Kennedy. See, I agree with that. You know, they've sat there and they've basically said that every single penny we generate is getting pumped back into the club in alliance with financial fair play. So if we do go and sell a player for 50 million, then that 50 million, as far as I'm seeing, is getting pumped back into the starting 11. They also said that Unai Emery and themselves have looked at player performances this season, and it's been an ongoing thing throughout the whole season. Who's performing to their maximum capability for the money they are on, and who isn't? And now they've had the conversations. We're already in the market for players. We've already spoken to players. A lot of them players want us to be in the Champions League, so they're on the back burner for now. But we've already identified the players we want. We've already identified the players that we need in the positions we need. Now it's a case of, let's stop talking. Let's see if we can actually get that over the line. Yes, Champions League will be a massive help in terms of getting some of them players. But at the same time, these players could go to the Champions League. They could go to a Chelsea or to a Tottenham. I know Tottenham are in the final this time round, but Chelsea are not really that much better than us. Let's be real. They're possibly going to lose Eden Hazard. They're on a transfer ban. So a lot of players that join Chelsea to be in Champions League, they're going to want out, aren't they? And I don't know, you could get Champions League and get knocked out in the group stage. So is Champions League the be-all and end-all? Because as a football club, we are not ready and not advanced enough right now to go and win the Champions League or compete till the semi-finals. So if that's the deal breaker, I don't want them players at my club anyway. That's how I'm looking at it. Please stick a thumbs up on the video. Nearly 500 of you watching it live. Only 127 likes. That helps me along my way. Do you think Granit Xhaka needs to be sold, says Simon Phelan? Yes, I do, immediately. Ozil, Mustafi, El Neni need to leave, says Daniel. I agree. Zayek and Fraser, says Jamie. Do you know what? The amount of money that people are talking about Wilfried Zaha, we could go and buy both of them players and have change. Xhaka has to stay. He can stay as T-boy. Love from Miami. Big up yourself, JB. Do you like the new kit? Anyone who's joined now, yes, I have seen the new kits. I'm not convinced they are the new kits until they're officially confirmed. But if they are the new kits, I will be buying both of them. I rate the yellow one more than the red, but I do like them both. Wish the yellow kit had more black marks on it, says Magnet. I think it looks all right, mate, to be honest with you. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if it's legit. There's a blue one that's going around the internet right now as well, as apparently been called our third kit. So, I don't know. Tokyo Guna, big up yourself, mate. Thank you. Big up from Jamaica. Thank you, mate. Our front two would score against any defence, scare any defence in the world, says Steve-O 666. I agree with that. They would. It's just whether the midfield can track back and track runners and the defence can actually do their job properly. Ban Hazard and Kante as they are Armenian. Are they actually? Big up from Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you, my friend. Right, let's do 10 minutes worth of questions and I'm going to get myself out of here. Before I do that, stick a thumbs up on the video. Also, it is Unai Emery's 1-year anniversary today of being Arsenal manager. It was officially announced 1 year ago today. I've programmed already a video in for 9 o'clock tonight, just going through how I think he's done in his first year. So yeah, check that out. Stick the notification bell on. I know a lot of you don't get the notifications even though you've got them on, because that's what happens on this platform sometimes. But yeah, stick the notification bell on and you will not miss it, hopefully. Hello from Malaysia. Thank you, mate. Bless up from Jamaica. Amsterdam. Thomas Party, says Neil. Yes, I'll take him as well. Hazard or Ozil, that's a non-contest. Hazard. Big up from Lewisham, says KS1. My old man was born there. Big up yourself, mate. Coke or Pepsi? Coke. Can't stand Pepsi, mate. It's too sugary. Mario Götze. No, that ship sailed back in 2012, I think, mate. Thoughts on Leon Bailey, says Philip. Yeah, I'll take him. He's better than Iwobi. DT or Troops? Troops is my guy, man. Do you watch Sophie and Troops? No, I watch Troops, the Duff. I can't stand Sophie, unfortunately, mate. John says, big up, Lee. You and Kenny Ken are my favourites on a.f.c. Thank you, mate. If you could choose 3 positions to strengthen, which would they be? Says K. Centre-back, definitely. Centre-back, left wing, right wing. 4-4-2 or 3-4-1-2. Both. Depends what team we're playing. Big up from Dublin Leaf. Thank you, mate. Any other sports other than football? Says this statement is false. Not really, mate, to be honest. What's your favourite takeaway? Japanese, Ed. Japanese, mate. Love it. Mustafi or Umtiti? Rather pass the weed. Ex-Arsenal player you would still play and you would take back, says Life. Cesc Fabregas in a heartbeat. Is RVP a legend, says a real football fan? No, he's not. Big up from South Africa. Are you going to the final? Do you smoke ganja? No and no, but big up yourself, mate. Is Aubameyang better than Henry? Some of these questions, man, seriously, no. Big up from Broadstairs Beach. Where's that? I don't know where that is, Mark. Mustafi or Gabriel? That's a good question. Gabriel. Do you drink whiskey? If so, what whiskey? I don't, unfortunately, mate. I drink rum. Have you seen Sophie's topless pics? No, and I don't want to. Is Fabregas an Arsenal legend? No. Very good player, though. Should have took him back. Would you buy Martial, says Alan? Yes. Have you ever been to Newcastle? Yeah, I went there in September when we played Newcastle. Wicked night out, man. Stayed up there for the weekend. Would you take Rabiel, says Hassan? I don't know, man. I see saying earlier that the reports are he wants 10 million quid signing on fee, 200 bags a week, and bonuses for Champions League performances, etc. Nah, man. Go somewhere else because we ain't paying that. And that's not the sort of player I want. Sadio Mane or Raheem Sterling, says Brandon and Bance. Raheem Sterling for me, mate. How much money would you give up to get Ozil off the books? No comment. Is Aaron Ramsey a legend, says Kennedy A. More of a cult hero. FA Cup legend, I think, but not Premier League legend. Not Arsenal legend overall, but definitely an FA Cup legend. Do you rate United Stand? Yeah, I do watch United Stand. Goldbridge has me in stitches. Which of the youth deserve their chance next season, says G90. I think Reece Nelson, Smith Rowe, probably the only two, to be honest with you, mate. Maybe Joe Willock. I think maybe you could put Joe Willock. Yeah, I'd say them 3. Obviously, Maitland-Niles is a stake to claim as well, but I think he will get more games anyway. But them 3, definitely. Sylvester or Scalacci, says Alex. Scalacci. Name me a club that would take Mesut Ozil, says Simon Harding. Fenerbahce, LA Galaxy, Beckham's team, any Chinese club, Inter Milan, they'd take him. What about Eddie Nketiah? I don't think he's ready, man. I'd loan him. Mavropanos does not look promising. I agree with that, Davor. I don't think he's done anything to warrant the hype around him. What about Bilic? No, not for me. Sane or Ziyech, says Nitesh. It's a very close call. I'd have to say Sane for now, mate. Should we bring back Santos. No. Most underrated Arsenal player ever, says Cass. Most underrated Arsenal player. Anders Limpar. Although he was rated by a lot of people back in the day, but a lot of people don't know how good he actually was because they were born after that, if that makes sense. But at the time, he was rated by the fans, but I suppose more of a modern player. I'd have to say Fabregas. You know, we all know Fabregas was good, but he was that good. He was so good, and he's underappreciated because he ended up at Chelsea. But what makes me laugh is Manu Petit ended up at Chelsea, going via Barcelona as well. But he gets no hate. Fabregas gets hate. Don't get it. Arteta and Reyes were underrated. Reyes was underrated, actually. His debut, he scored twice against Chelsea. I remember that. Kevin Campbell was underrated. Big up Kevin Campbell. He was underrated. Ray Parler's another one. How much do you think we would get for Mesut Ozil? 5-10 mil, mate. I don't think anyone's going to pay more than that, plus the wages. So I think the only way to get rid is take a low fee. Doing, says Reese. I'm very well, thank you. How did you rate Carlos Vela? He was decent, man. He was decent. What do you think of our new signing, Gabriel Martinelli? Has he actually signed yet? Liam Brady was underrated, says Liam O'Dowd. He was a very good player, left Arsenal way too early, man. Do you think we will get Zaha, says Jordan? No, I don't think we will. I think he'll end up at Tottenham, if I'm being completely honest. Biggest waste of a talent? Biggest waste of a talent? Probably Nicolas Anelka. Yeah, he had some great seasons, but overall, he never, ever hit what he could have hit. He was an absolute baller, but he was all about the money. How did we not win a title with the likes of Arshavin, Nasri, and RVP in our team, says Erwin. Why do you look at me? Some of these questions are funny. Who do you feel we should sign at right back? I think we should go all in for Wan-Bissaka. Do you rate Zaha? No, I don't. Would you take Santi back? Says Dave. No. Bentner or Jeffers? Bentner. Jeffers or Stepanovs? Stepanovs. Wenger or George Graham, says Alan. George Graham for me every day of the week. Charlie Nicholas was a waste of talent, says Loki 73. Do you know what? He was the Mesut Ozil of back in the day, bruv. He was either Nicholas in or Nicholas out. Not even 200 likes on this stream so far. 530 people. Please put a thumbs up on the video. Titus Bramble or Lionel Messi, man. Do you like tea or coffee? I drink both. Coffee in the morning, tea in the afternoon. Prediction for Europa League final, says Ellie M. I think we'll win it. I'm not sure by what scoreline yet. It'd be close though. Why did most teams get the most out of Arshavin, but we didn't? I don't know. That's a good question, mate. He was played out of position for most of his Arsenal career. Ronaldinho or Henry? Ooh, dear, oh dear, that's a close call. I'd have to say Henry. I think Ronaldinho was the more talented footballer, but I think Henry was the better goal scorer, and they could both take the mick at times, but obviously Henry played for Arsenal, so I'll pick him. But they were both unreal. Pereira from Leicester, change him to a centre-back. I think he's been good at right-back, Darren, to be honest with you. Lacazette or Griezmann, says Liam. I'll take Lacazette every day of the week over Griezmann. Do you think England will win the Euros 2020, says Omar? Nope. Biggest Arsenal regret, says Hassan. Probably selling Vieira when we sold him. I think he still had a few more years in him at Arsenal. We need to get Ozil on eBay. If you was a Spurs fan, would you start Kane in the final? I'm never going to be a Spurs fan. And I couldn't care less, if I'm being honest, mate. As long as Liverpool beat him, I don't care. Thoughts on De Ligt going to Manchester United? I'll believe it when I see it. Laka left out the French squad again. Good. Imagine Messi and Henry in the same team. I see him in the same team for Barcelona, mate. Best away stadium. I get asked this every day, man. Newcastle. But Palace is up there. Swansea's a nice stadium. But yeah, them three. Newcastle's the best, though. Thoughts on Edu for footballing director, says Cabby. I would take him. He knows the club. He knows what it means to the fans. He's, yeah, he gets it. So I'd take him. Indian or Chinese? Indian. What's your thoughts on Denis Suarez? Shame it didn't work out. Do you actually think Spurs can beat Liverpool? Yes, I do think they can beat them. I don't think they will, though. Best away ground outside the UK, says Daniel. Atletico. Their stadium was mad. That was one of the loudest, well, it was the loudest ground I've ever been in. And their fans were crazy, man, seriously. When we played them last season, every time we got near their goal, their fans got louder. Yeah, it was crazy. That was a mad stadium, man. Do you think we will ever build a Premier League winning team with our owner, says Barry? I do, but I think we need to just clear a lot of these players out of the squad and start again. But that's not going to happen over a couple of transfer windows. That's going to happen over the next 3 or 4 years. But I think we will. I do think we'll win the title again, but it's just a matter of when. Neres, Lozano and Maguire, is that enough for Arsenal next season? No, I still think we need maybe a right back and another centre back. Bergkamp or Zidane? Bergkamp all day long. Would you have Mahrez and Sane but not strengthen our defence, says Adam? No, defence is more important in my opinion. We score anyway. Did you find Raul's statement of outsmarting the market as promising? Do you know what? I thought he spoke very well. I thought he spoke really, really well. At Mummy's house, Lee. No, I own this house, mate. Yeah, I thought he actually spoke really well. I thought Vinai was a little bit more generic with his answers, but I thought the passion from Raul was mad. Suarez or Laka? Suarez, as long as it ain't Denis Suarez. JM says, you know Bergkamp only scored 5 goals in the Invincible season. Why are you always picking on Ozil? Mate, seriously, lighten up, mate. It ain't that deep. You've obviously never seen Bergkamp play football. Best player Arsenal have ever had. Safe standing, says Philip. Yes, I hope that comes in. I see Wolves have done something where they've got it now, or sort of safe section seating where you can stand and they've got barriers in front of it so you can't fall over. So I hope that comes in. I'll be honest, in the North Bank you can stand anywhere at Arsenal. They pretty much don't say nothing. Right, let's do a couple more minutes and I'm getting out of here. Do you think Ozil will turn up in the final? I hope so, mate. I hope so. Wenger or Ferguson? Ferguson all day long. Best manager ever, mate, in my opinion. What are the positives to take from this season? More away wins, more points. Europa League final. First time in 13 years we've got to a European final. The fact that now every single player is on their toes, they're not comfortable anymore. Mickey Damon, you're spot on, mate. Best talent Uvenga played out of position. Probably Arshavin. He was wasted. He was a top player. Will Welbeck play in the final? No. I think he'll probably be on the bench though. What do you think of bringing a drummer to build the atmosphere, says Jamie? I'll take that, man. Every time you see these foreign teams come to the Emirates, they've all got a drummer, man. Yeah, and it just sounds mad. It sounds wicked. So, yeah, I'd be open to that. If we lose the final, what happens then? We're in the Europa League, mate. We go again. Are we going to miss Ramsey? I think we will. Depends who we replace him with. If we replace him with somebody quality, then I don't think we will, because I think he averages about 4 goals a season, handful of assists. So if we can replace the 6 or 7 goals he averages, then I don't think we will miss him. But it depends. We'll see. Am I going to the USA? No, I'll be in Spain for that 2 weeks when Arsenal are on their tour of America. All right, let's do 2 more questions. I'm going. Lee, for your content every week next season, would you make an Arsenal highlight match reaction? What, from other people or from myself? Most promising youngster? Arsenal, Smith Rowe. What can Ozil do to stay? Except to terminate his contract and BT boy, mate. He's past it. He's gone. Let's get rid. Let's move on. It's done. Would you rather Spurs and Arsenal win or both lose? I can't have them winning it, mate, so I'd happily take the L if it means they don't win the Champions League. Right, one more question. Why didn't we win the Champions League in 01 and 04? Good question, mate. We should have won it in 06 as well, let's be real. I think he cocked up with the starting 11, taking Flamini out in 06, after we'd set a record. I think it's still a record now, actually, for the most clean sheets in Champions League in one campaign. He then put Ashley Cole in for Flamini. I'm not saying Ashley Cole caused the problems or anything like that, but why change the winning team? His substitution when we went down to 10 men was a joke. And Henry missing 2 absolute sitters didn't help either. So, but yeah, we should have won back-to-back titles and Champions League at least once. What if Ozil gets the winner? I'll celebrate because I'm an Arsenal fan. Henry or Bergkamp? Bergkamp. Do you think Allegri will take a year out? Says Thomas. Yeah, I do, mate, to be honest. Or he's going to United. Do you think we should sign Evans or Cahill? No. No. Right, one more and I'm going. Smash a thumbs up, please. 500 people watching, only half the amount of likes on it. Try and get that over 300, please. One more question. Right, Messi or Ronaldo? Messi for me all day long. Absolute joy to watch. He's a team player. Unlike Ronaldo, who gets jealous when his teammates score. But they're both unreal. But I'd take Messi all day long over him. So thank you very much. Don't forget my video at 9 o'clock will be out. That's talking about Unai Emery's first year. It's a year today he has signed for Arsenal. I go through how I think he's done. So yeah, get the bell on. Go and subscribe if you're new. Go and wait for that. That's out at 9 o'clock. Go back and check my daily transfer update out from this morning as well. Big up the 15,000 odd of you that subscribed. Let's push it up. Share the content around. Click the share button. Click the like button. Click the subscribe button and bell. Until 9 o'clock,